Botham Jean was a young black man, a Harvard graduate actually, who was shot and killed in his home by police officer Amber Geyer, who thought that there was an intruder in her home. What's interesting is that her statement, that she's gone on record saying that she entered into her apartment, saw a silhouette of a man, began to yell commands for this intruder to stop. The intruder did not stop, and then she shot him. What's interesting, though, is witnesses are saying that they heard a woman yelling, saying, "Open up, let me in," which would be very unusual behavior for someone who lived alone, right? And then to shoot somebody. Yet it's interesting because this is now a growing body of existing while black. It used to be a joke, driving while black, and now it doesn't matter what we're doing or what anyone is doing. You can be killed. You can be the brightest of the bright and you're going to be killed. So what were your initial thoughts when you heard of this news story?
My initial thoughts were and are more the same. My second thoughts are separation or death. Sister Janita, the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan has told us that this is not going to cease. This is not even going to decline or diminish. It's going to increase black death at the hands of white people, white cops, first and foremost, but white people in general. All white people have a license to kill black people, with not just the legal clearing of Zimmerman, but his ability to mosey around this country, causing all of the disrespectful mischief that he's able to cause with all the freedom of the world, with no threat or of harm, no reason to fear for his well-being. That's the reason white people sleep well at night. That's the reason white people feel emboldened to take black life. So all white people right now walk around with a license to kill black people. And we will see more of it because it is separation or death. There is no way black and white can coexist in peace together. That is what is being made abundantly, though painfully clear, more and more every day.
It's interesting because I imagine that there are some viewers who are listening to what you're saying and think that it sounds very fearful, fear-based, asking or suggesting that all whites have a license to kill black individuals, and blacks should be nervous about that.
Well, I'm not speaking from fear. The Negro is fearful. That's the reason George Zimmerman is able to walk around like he walks around and conduct himself the way he does. He has no fear because white people know the Negro is a fearful being because they made the Negro fearful. So yes, fearful is the reality of the Negro. Fear is not at the root of what I'm saying. Logic and a clear assessment of the facts and an urgency regarding what God himself has presented as the only solution to this problem. This is a problem that will not decrease with a continued misplaced desire for integration. This is a problem that will only be solved by separation.
That's interesting because, again, a lot of people would say that maybe we just need to explore other ways in which we can make integration more effective than to completely sever ties.
Yeah, well, we've tried that. We've exhausted all avenues of peaceful coexistence with white people. We have, Sister Janita. We have done everything to try to make white America value black life. We've done everything to try to convince white people that black life matters, but you used an excellent terminology. I think you said existing while black.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that is not just that that's where we are at now, that's where we have always been. Our black existence is a threat to these people. Our existence inspires the bloodlust in our open enemy. I say this. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said God created everything in pairs. Everything God created in pairs. And he created the predator and the prey. He said, likewise did he create people in pairs. The black man and the white man are archetypes, but we are archetypes that are, I'm sorry, inherently antagonistic. And this is what you are seeing. The reason this inherent antagonism plays out as black death at the hands of white people is because of the power differential. It's because white people are powerful, black people in our minds are powerless. And so the antagonism is an unequal distribution of death. That must change, and once that changes, once the distribution of death changes, when that ratio is altered, then black life will matter to white people, not before.
And so when you're saying when that ratio is altered, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean that when white numbers of death?
Yes, when white, that may be very clear. When white people are burying their sons, when white people are burying their daughters because of an infraction against black people, when white people have to mourn the loss of their sons and daughters at the hands of black people getting justice, then they will start to reconsider what black life really matters to them. If the value of black life is a white life, then that black life will increase in value to them.
So how does one make sense of what you're saying in terms of applying it, right? Because someone could easily listen to this and, use this as a reason to harm.
Yeah. I give you a very practical example. Our sister Nia Wilson in Oakland, her and her sister or San Francisco, well, I think it's Oakland, on public transportation, and a white man stabs them. What I'm saying is that white man should not have left that premises alive. If there were black men in particular on that train, they should have killed that white man. That white man should be dead today. That's what I'm saying. And so when black people respond in a protective way, when black men in particular are willing to kill to protect the life of black women and black children in particular, that's the type of death that I'm talking about. Death to protect black women and black children against or from the predation of white people. And when white people suffer that death, then a lot less black women and black children will be praised.
I know we have some grandmas out there clutching their purses that you just said all that. I feel like
I say it for that grandma who's clutching her purses, because they don't respect our grandma any more than they respect our daughters. So they beat our grandmas up on the side of the road and videotape it.
Right.
So the grandmas who's clutching your purse, I'm speaking for you.
But for those who listen and feel emotionally charged by what you're saying, I wonder if, in some ways, does this encourage a race riot, or is this really like going to help people with practical ways to implement that's not going to result in death and violence?
That's very interesting. White people are killing black people just for existing, as you acknowledge. White people are killing black people just for existing. When there's the proposal that black people respond against physical threats against our life, that only then is the fear of race riot entered into the discussion. No, we live in a race riot. We are the victims. Black people are in a state of race riot right now. White people are rioting on the life of black people. We exist in an ongoing state of race riot. It's time that white people suffer some losses. Not indiscriminately. Let me be real clear. As we in the Nation of Islam, we do not advocate arbitrary killing of anybody. We don't advocate the arbitrary killing of white people. White people must pay for what they have done for 6,000 years. They've killed over 600 million people of color, white people, since they've been on this earth. They must pay for that. They will pay for that. However, the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So God, who has come, will execute judgment on white people for that. So we in the Nation of Islam, we don't walk around seeking to indiscriminately harm or do violence to anybody, white or other. But what we're saying is that if the Mosaic Law is appropriate for white people, when they caught the so-called bombers in Boston, they were happy to put them to death, and they said an eye for an eye. America, white people operate by the Mosaic Law, an eye for an eye. But they want us to operate from the Jesus Law, love their enemies. No, no, man. If the Mosaic Law is appropriate for white people, the Mosaic Law is appropriate for us. So you kill us, you should suffer loss. If our mothers are mourning the loss of their son, then their mothers should mourn the loss of their sons, not indiscriminately, but in an effort to protect our life. We have the right to fight and to kill if need be to preserve our life. We only have one life. We won't get another.
Yeah, I see that. So how do you think, or how do you see that racial stereotypes contribute to the internalized fear, often resulting in these situations that happened with Brother Gene?
Which racial stereotype?
Well, he was a young black man where this occurred. Do you think that it was random, or that it was random, just absolutely an accident that she walked in, or his blackness?
Well,
really
no, I don't
contributed to
believe that. I don't believe anything about her alibi. As you noted, the neighbors heard her banging on the door saying, "Let me in." She knew that wasn't her apartment. She was trying to get in that apartment. There's a picture floating around social media of them in a picture. They knew each other.
Right.
Apparently, she knew whose apartment that was, and for whatever reason, she was banging on that door, wanting to get in. So no, everything about her alibi is shallow and unbelievable. So something else is involved here. Absolutely something else is involved here. I believe she knew whose apartment that was, why it ended the way it ended, why she was so intent on getting into brother's apartment, and when she did, she killed him. I don't know. The facts, inshallah, will come out, though the Dallas Police Department is trying to do everything they can to keep the facts from coming out.
Well, she's out on bail right now for $300,000. What do you think ultimately what we're going to see progress in this case?
Well, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, Sister Janita. What you're going to see as this case progresses, however it progresses, we're going to see more black death at white hands. It's going to increase. Why are we here today talking about this brother, this circumstance? It's as if every single time we sit down, there's a new hashtag.
Yeah.
Reflect on that. This isn't getting any better. We aren't producing less hashtags. We continuously put black names behind melancholy hashtags. So the solution is not in the legal outcome of this case. The solution is recognizing that there is no peaceful coexistence between black and white. And so we must organize to separate from these people, go it for ourselves, build a community en route to a nation of our own, getting ourselves together. And in the meantime, make white life or make black life costly to white life. If you want black life, you got to purchase it, and the cost is white life.